There's a reason so much field gear from the 1940s still survives in near-perfect condition, while many modern synthetic fabrics tear, mildew, or lose their waterproofing after a single hard season outdoors. Long before nylon ponchos, polyurethane coatings, or factory-applied sprays became standard. Soldiers during World War II relied on a primitive yet remarkably ingenious formula to shield themselves from rain, snow, and mud. It wasn't a patented industrial secret or a mass-produced chemical treatment. It was a hand-mixed blend of animal tallow, paraffin wax, and pine resinable, accessible materials that transformed ordinary wool, cotton, and canvas into water-repelling armor, rediscovered decades later by collectors, reenactors, and survivalists. This field-borne chemistry stands as one of the most enduring forgotten arts of wartime innovation. During the brutal winters of the war, supply lines were unreliable and replacement gear was often impossible to obtain. From the frozen expanses of the Eastern Front to the wind-lashed outposts of the Aleutian Islands, soldiers faced relentless moisture. Tarps tore in high winds, oilcloth cracked in freezing temperatures, and heavy wool coats soaked through after days of sleet and trench mud. In such conditions, wet fabric wasn't just uncomfortable, it was deadly. Hypothermia, frostbite, and illness could cripple units as effectively as enemy fire. Soldiers needed a way to waterproof their blankets, uniforms, and shelters using whatever materials they could scavenge or salvage. Military engineers and practical-minded troops began experimenting with what was available. Animal fat left over from cooking fires provided a soft, pliable base. Paraffin wax, often scavenged from candles or supply stores, added structure. Pine resin, harvested from nearby trees, served as a natural sealant and binding agent. When heated together in the right proportions, these ingredients formed a thick, waxy compound applied hot to fabric. It penetrated deep into the fibers. As it cooled and cured, it created a flexible, water-resistant barrier that remained breathable enough to prevent rot and mildew. Unlike many modern synthetic coatings that sit on top of fabric and eventually delaminate or peel, this mixture bonded directly with the fibers themselves. It became part of the cloth. Once treated and properly cured, a wool blanket or a canvas sheet could repel rain for months even through extended campaigns. Accounts from both Allied and Axis units describe improvised greasewax blankets used in place of standard tarps during snowstorms. Bedrolls became waterproof cocoons. Ground cloths turned into reliable shelter floors. Some soldiers even lined foxholes with treated canvas to keep their sleeping gear dry in waterlogged terrain. The exact formula varied slightly depending on region and available resources, but the principle remained consistent. Tallow contributed softness and flexibility, preventing the fabric from becoming brittle in freezing temperatures. Paraffin wax added body and water resistance. Resin locked everything together, hardening just enough to seal the surface without cracking. A commonly cited ratio among modern recreations is roughly 40% paraffin, 40% tallow, and 20% resina, balance that provides durability without excessive stiffness or tackiness. Preparation required patience and steady heat. Soldiers melted tallow and paraffin together over a low flame, stirring carefully to avoid scorching. Small fragments of pine resin were added gradually until the mixture thickened and released a faint woodsy aroma. Once fully liquefied, the compound was brushed or rubbed onto cloth while still hot. Rags, sticks, or even the back of a mess tin could serve as applicators. After coating, the fabric was gently reheated, hung near a fire or laid in direct sun, allowing the mixture to penetrate deeper into the weave. As it cooled, the material darkened slightly and stiffened, signaling that the fibers were sealed. Testing was simple. A few drops of water sprinkled onto the surface would bead and roll away if the treatment was successful. If the fabric absorbed moisture, another thin coat was applied. Some soldiers treated both sides for maximum protection, though a heavy outer layer was often sufficient. A properly prepared blanket could function as a poncho, tent fly, or bedroll cover. In desperate conditions, it might be the only barrier between a soldier and freezing rain. Modern survivalists who recreate this process emphasize balance. Too much wax makes fabric rigid and prone to cracking. Too much grease leaves it sticky, attracting dirt and dust. When done correctly, however, the result is remarkably durable. One of the greatest strengths of this wartime method is its adaptability. If abrasions appear after hard use, simply warming the fabric near heat can remelt and redistribute the coating, effectively resealing minor damage. The treatment can be refreshed indefinitely, extending the life of gear for years or even decades. There were other advantages as well. The natural blend of tallow and resin produced a matte finish that reduced glare and essential quality in combat zones where reflections could reveal positions. The scent of resin and animal fat also helped deter insects and inhibit mildew growth. Compared to some modern waterproofing sprays that degrade over time or require reapplication with specialized products, this mixture relied on materials that were inexpensive, renewable, and widely available. Today, enthusiasts restoring original 1940s packs, coats, and tarps often report that properly treated canvas still outperforms certain high-end outdoor fabrics under sustained soaking. While modern laminates, such as Gore-Tex, offer impressive performance, they can struggle when outer layers become saturated. In contrast, Waxan grease-treated canvas maintains water resistance through repeated reheating and maintenance, without relying on fragile membranes. For those interested in trying the technique, it can still be reproduced with basic tools. Equal parts paraffin wax and rendered tallow are melted slowly over low heat. A smaller portion of powdered pine resinoso, known as colophony, is stirred in until dissolved. The warm mixture is brushed evenly onto canvas, denim, or wool. After application, gentle heat from a hairdryer or warm sunlight helps the compound soak in fully. The fabric will darken and stiffen slightly, indicating successful penetration. This treatment works particularly well for field tarps, tool rolls, bushcraft, smocks, and old army blankets used in camping setups. Some users coat only the underside of a canvas bedroll to block ground moisture while leaving the interior untreated for comfort. Those seeking historical authenticity often prefer animal tallow for its traditional scent and texture, while others substitute beeswax or soy wax for a milder aroma, keeping resin as the essential binder. More than just a waterproofing trick, this humble formula represents a mindset one rooted in adaptation and necessity. Soldiers didn't wait for improved supply chains or advanced materials. They engineered solutions from scraps and natural resources. They turned waste, fat, candle wax, and tree sap into survival tools through practical chemistry. Born in the field, the same ingenuity that waterproofed blankets in 1943 still holds value for modern adventurers seeking durable, repairable gear. Every time a collector restores a vintage canvas pack using this old method, a fragment of wartime craftsmanship comes back to life. It's practical, It's resilient, and it continues to defy the elements decades after the guns fell silent. The old ways were never truly lost. They were simply waiting to be rediscovered by those who valued durability over disposability and craftsmanship over convenience.